right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A new voter surge during a trend of empty voting booths.
They just say I'm not voting. That ain't good.
Tonight, the push to exercise your right.
A September sizzle in St. Louis. How hot it'll get, plus I'm tracking some rain chances.
Our top story, crisis averted. An armed teen stopped outside a high school.
We always have to assume the worst.
The arrest prompting a call for an end to school violence. Tonight, a teenager is in custody after making threats against his former school. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. This afternoon's threat against the Rittner School District came just days after a previous threat sent students to remote learning. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski is in the newsroom with everything we know so far, Laura.
Mike and Kelly, the threat started online with a social media post, but became all too real for the Rittner School District when the suspect was arrested and had a gun 1 block from one of their schools.
Rittner School District Superintendent Chris Kilbride says this threat started like many threats do.
I want to thank our students that saw it. They saw it out on social media. We had a number of students that came directly forward and notified administrators.
Kilbride says the threatening post from one of their former students had a picture and tagged the location of Rittner High School. After reporting it to district officials, they were able to call the Missouri State Highway Patrol Courage to Report hotline. That mobilized several police departments, and around 1:30 Tuesday afternoon, they responded to Husky Academy, another Rittner school.
Students and faculty were at school at that time, and that's when they went down, or they got away from the windows and the other areas at that point.
Police say the teenager was in his car with a loaded handgun when police found him outside Husky Academy.
Officers, when they were going to approach him, he took off running. The officers converged in the area and apprehended him about a block away.
Investigators say in the shuffle, the suspect had ditched his gun, but they found it after taking him into custody. District officials say it was only 24 minutes from the time they received word of the threat to the time of the juvenile's arrest. While the response was quick, the wounds will not heal quickly.
We're in the second month of school, and at the end of the day, students and staff are tired, parents are tired because of where we are now in 2024. And so truly understanding the sense of urgency and being able to eliminate these threats and ensuring that they don't perpetuate, they don't continue by using Courage to Report, by contacting school, and standing up and being a true champion of the community and of schools.
The teenager is in St. Anne police custody and could face several charges, including weapons charges, but that will be handled through the juvenile court system. Counseling will be made available for current students.
Ladue High School also faced threats today. Officials canceled class after receiving a bomb threat at Ladue Horton Watkins High School. Police quickly cleared the school and searched it with bomb-sniffing dogs and a drone. Officers determined it was just a swatting call. That's a prank where someone calls in a phony threat to draw in a large police response. Local experts say these made-up calls can have real-world consequences for law enforcement.
Many agencies rely on the help from the other agencies to support them during that process, and then that takes away the ability for those agencies to work for their own constituents.
Class is scheduled to resume tomorrow at Horton Watkins High. The FBI is currently working with Ladue police to track down the source of that threat.
First Form says comments made by its founder, Andy Frisella, do not reflect the views of the company. The company's CEO and Frisella's brother, Sal, released a statement saying, quote, "We do not agree with his statements, and we do not condone the words or the context in which they were presented." Multiple police departments and companies cut ties with First Form after Anthony Frisella made sexist comments toward female officers. Sal Frisella says they're working to make significant steps to repair these relationships, and he also says the company will be making changes to rebuild trust in the company.
Traffic was stopped for hours on I-270 after a tractor trailer caught fire. This happened in the Bell Fountain Neighbors area near Missouri Route 367. North County fire officials tell us a car hit a piece of debris on the road, which then hit a truck's fuel tank and ignited it. It took multiple crews an hour to put out the fire. Nobody was injured in the crash. Tonight, 2 new moves to try and keep Marcellus Williams off death row. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell is appealing to the state Supreme Court a judge's ruling upholding the conviction. Specifics of that appeal were not shared, but Williams' attorneys are also filing an appeal saying they have new evidence of racial bias in the jury selection. Williams is set to be executed next week for the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale.
A suspected burglar got more than he bargained for overnight in North St. Louis County. Police say the man crept through a sleeping couple's unlocked door on Bloom Drive in the Hanley Hills area. And new tonight, Robert Townsend reports it ended with the home invasion suspect taking a bullet.
Police say in the thick of the night, an unarmed man got inside a home in this Hanley Hills neighborhood and gave a sleeping couple quite a scare.
Our officers received a call for a home invasion and a shooting.
Police later identified the suspect as 47-year-old Cedric Marshall of Wellston. Prosecutors charged him with burglary and assault. According to court documents, around 5 Tuesday morning, Marshall first walked through the couple's unlocked back door.
Mr. Marshall then stood over the husband and wife while he was half naked, and that awoke the homeowners.
Court documents further reveal the furious husband ordered him to leave, but Marshall then lunged at the homeowner and stated, "You'll have to shoot me." Police say when the two men struggled, the homeowner shot Marshall once in his chest before the 225-pound, partially nude suspect collapsed in the family's backyard. Neither the couple nor their 5- and 10-year-old children were hurt. Police say a wounded Marshall left a blood trail inside the couple's home. Officers found the suspected burglar's pants on the couple's back porch. Right now, investigators tell us they still don't know why he targeted that couple's house.
I don't know that he really had a choice in the matter.
Samantha Denny lives down the street.
I'm very glad that he was able to, to defend themselves and get him out of the house.
In a statement, St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell said, quote, "Missouri law clearly provides homeowners with the right to protect themselves, particularly while on their property."
It is scary.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And Marshall remains in the hospital. He's being held on a $250,000 cash-only bond.
Right now, police are investigating an attempted carjacking that turned into a shootout. It happened in Blackjack. One person was injured in the shooting with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say there are multiple suspects involved in the attempted theft of a white Porsche truck. Neighbors say there's a rising trend of armed break-ins in that area.
I wish that parents would get more control of their kids, because I don't know that anything is being done about it. You're not punishing parents, you're not punishing kids. They're just kind of running around unchecked. You need good order and discipline.
Right now, police have no suspects in custody. Just 7 weeks from now, voters across the country will head to the polls to elect our next president.
Today, grassroots groups everywhere spent the day letting people know there's still time to register to vote. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is live downtown with a look at the surge in registrations local officials are seeing. Brent.
Well, Kelly, Mike, we're at the Board of Elections in the city, which will be very busy come November 5th. There's also another date you want to keep in mind, October 9th, the last day to register to vote if you haven't already.
Trying to see if y'all registered to vote, man.
For music producer and University City business owner D. Red, this is a mission that matters.
It's a lot of people out here that can't vote, so we just trying to make sure everybody that can will vote. Because it's a bad thing to waste the vote.
He owns a transport service company. On Election Day, which happens to be his birthday, he plans to transport people to the polls all day long.
It'll be me and 2 other drivers, 3 vehicles, and we'll be helping people get to the polls.
He isn't the only one stressing the importance of voting.
Our field team has actually been in high schools across the city of St. Louis, registering voters today that are of age.
The efforts are making a difference.
We're seeing a surge of voter registrations.
Our folks are here after hours working, doing all the paperwork.
Over at the St. Louis County Election Board, the race is on, processing all of those who are registering to vote and updating their addresses. Leaders here say that's very important.
There's a lot of people forget, if I move, that, you know, I update my address with this government office and that government office. Well, they don't all talk to the Board of Elections. So it's important to check your voter registration to make sure you don't run into any problems on Election Day.
Elections sometimes come down to 1 or 2 votes.
No matter who you choose to vote for.
Yeah.
Just know your vote count, and it matters.
Now in St. Louis City and County, you can vote at any precinct come November 5th. By the way, to reach D-Red's transport company and to find a polling place near you, visit this story in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. Live downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Right now, candidates are preparing for 2 debates ahead of the November election. 5 on your side will stream the Missouri governor's race and the Missouri Senate race on 5+. It begins at 2, and you can watch it for free on your Amazon Fire, Roku, or Apple TV, and on KSDK.com.
For the second time in 4 months, the U.S. Senate has failed to pass a bill giving nationwide protections for in vitro fertilization. Once again, the Right to IVF Act was blocked by Republicans who call the bill overreaching. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has called for the government to pay for the fertility treatments, but the bill's sponsor, Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, calls that a campaign ploy.
So my bill actually has an insurance mandate for the largest employer health plan in the world, which is the Federal Employee Health Plan. And we can start there. So what's the point of having insurance coverage for something you're not allowed to do? So to understand the red herring that they're putting out there.
Duckworth's fellow Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin voted in favor of the bill. Both of Missouri's Republican senators Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt voted no.
And here's a live look at Busch Stadium, where just hours ago, 20 people became U.S. citizens. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services hosted a special event to celebrate Constitution and Citizenship Day. The 20 candidates were from 13 countries, spanning from the Philippines to Canada. Some have been living as permanent residents for close to 30 years. One citizen from Australia says America now has a new meaning to her.
I'm glad that I finally took the step. I've been a permanent resident all these times, but now to actually feel the wonderful, like just hearing the oath and hearing the Pledge of Allegiance and then the singing of the anthem, it brought me to tears.
This ceremony is one of many that will take place across the country until Sunday.
A new piece of public art is honoring a St. Louis neighborhood's history. The Legacy of Mill Creek is a set of murals dedicated to Mill Creek's historically black community. It's located at the entrance of St. Louis University that would have been the historical entrance to Mill Creek. SLU hosted a speaking event to commemorate the mural.
A political shouting match. Tonight, the calls from leaders on both sides to hit the mute button on violent rhetoric. A wine wipeout prevented by Missouri.
60% of European vines were killed.
Tonight, we verify how scientists in the Show Me State saved the vineyards.
Summer's hanging on with more afternoon heat. Fall officially arrives Sunday, but will we feel that autumn chill?
2 days after a second attempt on former President Donald Trump's life, both candidates are back on the campaign trail.
And Republicans want to see more security around Trump. Trump praised his protectors recently after spotting his would-be assassin before he could fire. Now a group of GOP senators sent a letter to the Secret Service demanding that Mr. Trump receive the same level of protection as President Biden.
Whether it's Rangers, whether it's Navy SEALs, whether it's more DHS, I don't care. We got 48 days, and if we have something disastrous happen in this time frame between now and the election, we know what could happen.
President Biden is now calling on Congress to consider more resources for the Secret Service.
Politicians in both parties are now speaking out on political rhetoric. Vice presidential candidate Senator J.D. Vance blamed Democrats and the media for spreading violent messages, while some Democrats are standing by their statements. One Illinois senator says former President Trump is still a threat.
I think there's a threat to the democratic system. I mean, if you don't accept the outcome of an election in a democracy, that is a threat to that system.
2 assassination attempts in as many months, and I think that it's time to say to the Democrats, to the media, to everybody that has been attacking this man and trying to censor this man for going on 10 years, cut it out or you're going to get somebody killed.
Both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have denounced violent political rhetoric.
Instagram is making big changes to protect its young users. The social media platform announced new teen account settings for users under 18 years old. Those accounts will be set to private and have the strictest messaging setting. The new settings will also restrict what they can see on the app. The settings go into effect next week.
September is Missouri Wine Month. Harvest season is in full swing, but is it true without Missouri we could be living in a world without wine? And Allred verifies how Missouri scientists step up to save the wine industry.
Missouri has a rich history of winemaking dating back to the 1830s. But is a story about Missouri saving the global wine industry a myth? Let's verify. Is it true Missouri scientists saved the world's wine from being destroyed? Our sources: Allison Miller, St. Louis University's Danforth Plant Science Center, Dean Volenberg, University of Missouri's Grape and Wine Institute, and the Missouri Botanical Garden. Trouble began in the 1860s when a tiny bug hitched a ride from the Midwest to Europe. This pale yellow aphid, known as Phylloxera, is barely perceptible to the naked eye. Due to its underground habitat and its ability to reproduce asexually, the insect caused destruction completely unnoticed for 20 years.
European vines that had never experienced this before was terrible. I mean, they estimate like 60% of European vines were killed as these little aphids started chomping on the roots, and the roots just couldn't handle it.
Phylloxera also started affecting grapevines in South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. It was estimated the wine industry would be destroyed in another 10 years. That's when Missouri comes into play. The Missouri Botanical Garden's first advisor, Dr. George Engelman, joined forces with Missouri's first state entomologist, Charles Valentine Riley. They discovered Phylloxera was the culprit after noticing North American grapevines were not affected. The reason? Our vines had built up a resistance to the native insect. They figured out through grafting, or the fusion of European grapevines to North American root systems, the new plant would be resistant to the pest.
Grafting it involves clonal propagation. So you're literally putting the same grapevine on a different root system.
It was a success. Over time, the overseas wine industry slowly recovered. We can verify, yes, it's true. Missouri scientists saved the world's wine from being destroyed. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
If there is something you would like for us to verify, send us an email, verify@ksdk.com.
Meteorologist Jim Castillo is in for Scott tonight. He joins us now with the weather impact forecast, and he has been staring at the moon all night.
Oh, yes. You've been mesmerized, Jim.
Geeking out, yes. And none of you care at all. Just kidding.
That's not true.
Not true.
They've been busy, and then I try to pull them away and go, look, oh my gosh.
Look at this.
We're like, okay.
So here is that live look. I know it doesn't look like much. I'll show you some cool pictures, though, coming in. So the very tip top of that, you can see just a little nibble taken out of it. And so the eclipse reached its maximum about 9:44 p.m. And Howard from DeSoto, Missouri, you can see it there, a shadow on the moon. This is what Patricia's phone picture looked like there, and that's what mine turned out like. So it's not bad, though, but a beautiful shot. And, of course, Evan, really nice camera, Bonne Terre, Missouri, and Jackie, Clay City, Illinois. You can see it even had a different brightness to it. Beth from St. Louis. This was at about 9:44 p.m. where the top part of it was in a shadow there. All right, 76 degrees right now, and we've even had reports of the Northern Lights. Lucas, I want to give you a shout out because we don't have your video, but Dittmer, Missouri, we've had some solar flares and also the Northern Lights all the way down to Dittmer, and that was last night and also this morning. So we're watching for those too, just in case. But 48% on that humidity, dew point 55, and the high today 90. Yeah, we're going to go higher than that tomorrow. So the heat is with us, not necessarily the humidity. Overnight lows tonight in the 60s, but we're right now, some of us still in the 70s, and there's that area of high pressure causing that sinking air in here, so it's mainly clear. And then you get this line of storms in western Kansas. That's a new front that we'll be watching, and it brings in some humidity, kind of pushes some humidity our way as the Gulf of Mexico moisture kind of moves in our direction. So it gets more humid by Friday, and it'll feel like that. It'll feel kind of steamy out there for sure. So there's the front on Friday. A slight chance of a shower or storm in here. As we get into Saturday, again, 20-30% chance of a shower, but that heat's with us. And there's Sunday's forecast, 87 for that high temperature. All right, 7-day outlook. Here it is. So 90 tomorrow, 92 on Thursday, 93 Friday. But this is still summer. Officially, fall gets here on Sunday, but it's really not too cool, is it? 87 degrees. A chance of rain Sunday, Monday, but a slim chance at this point.
It was pretty. We both liked your pictures.
You liked it? Okay, good.
Yes, we like it.
Frank is here with sports.
Mike, should nice Catholic kids dislike each other when playing football? Could it be Lance Lynn's swan song tonight? And will Florida go after Coach Drinkwitz?
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Behind me is a good Cardinal, Michael Lance Lynn. In this uniform, he won 79 games, struck out over 1,000, and pitched 1,100 innings. And at Busch Stadium, he's been gold, 6-0, including tonight over the Pirates. Lance has never cheated this organization, and he wanted to go out in style in maybe his last game as a Redbird. 6 innings, 5 Ks, 4 hits, and 1 earned run. While Lynn's career could be ending, Jordan Walker's is just beginning. And in the 4th, he blasted one 425 feet. The Cardinals led it 2-1. Folks, don't give up on this 22-year-old. And in the 9th, they gave the ball to their best player, Ryan Helsley. He picked up save number 45. Cards win 2-1. While the Cardinals have not met expectations, the Missouri football Tigers are meeting them. I don't know a soul who didn't have them going 4-0 out of the gates. And Las Vegas agrees. They have the Tigers as a 21-point favorite this week against Vanderbilt. Saturday's performance wasn't a classic against Boston College. They did not cover the spread. But let's not get too greedy. You beat a ranked team. You're 7th in the country. How many times has Mizzou said that in the last 50 years? Isn't that the mark of a quality team? You don't play your A game and still win?
Our team faced adversity, didn't have the best start that we needed to in any of the 3 phases, but we still found a way to compete. I didn't think played our best ball in the 4th quarter either, but offensively when the game was on the line, we executed on critical downs in order to win. So those are building blocks that says you have it in you. Now it's just about being more consistent.
Make sure you are with us Friday night for 5 on Your Sideline. We have some excellent photographers, and they will be all over town shooting the best ground-level video of the best 8 games. And I can assure you, you will see some of this action between DeSmet and CBC. Last year in the regular season, the Spartans just ran them off the field in a blowout. However, in the state playoffs, the Cadets came back and got revenge. They seem to peak at the right time every year. What a matchup. Number 2 DeSmet versus number 5 CBC. You're a nice Catholic boy, but you can't like them, right?
No, no. Respect them, but don't like them.
Do you like CBC?
No, I have lots of friends at CBC. I have
You
lots
didn't
of
answer that question.
I have lots of friends at CBC. I'm friends with their coaches. I know a lot of their kids. We want to beat them for sure. And when you see them in athletics, you're like, but a little bit of that's jealousy because they win so much, and you just want to take them down.
It really is intense. Like I remember coming in my freshman year and not really thinking about it too much. Like, oh, that's our rival. And now that I'm a senior, and it's like, man, like we want to really get after these guys.
Finally tonight, Florida coach Mike Napier lost again this weekend. He's 12-16, and that won't cut it in Gainesville. They will look for a new coach, and they likely will look at Eli Drinkwitz. 99% of the time, the Florida job is better than the Mizzou job. They've won 3 national titles, and it's a little easier to find talent in Miami than Chesterfield. But this is the 1% of the time where Mizzou is the better job. Coach Drink makes $9 million a year. The NIL money is ridiculous, and they just keep upgrading facilities. And oh, by the way, he has a much better team. So Florida can call. I don't think Drink will answer. And that's Frankly Speaking for tonight.
Dave & Buster's is getting an upgrade. The grand prize up for grabs at the grand reopening. It's time to get back in the game. Restaurant and arcade Dave & Buster's in Maryland Heights will unveil its new look on September 27th. The first 200 people inside will get free games for life. Doors open at 11 in the morning.
Amazon is giving you a head start on holiday shopping. They're bringing Prime Big Deal Days back in October 8th and 9th. The sales event will offer big discounts on top brands from multiple categories. Just the third time Amazon has hosted the event in the fall.
Well, not that I don't mind, but Halloween's not even here yet.
I know, but it's Christmas in a lot of stores already.
Yes. All right,
We're
our
getting in
weather,
the mood
which
for
does
it,
not
though.
feel like fall.
No, it doesn't. I'm still in the mood, though, for Halloween, even though I want some cooler weather for sure. We're going to get kind of hot over the next couple of days, lower 90s, but that humidity doesn't return until Friday.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.